are listening to Vaymo Radio.
Hey, you guys, this is your host, Vanessa Morgan, on the one and only Vaymo Radio. And I'm here today with personal chef to the stars, Chef Jerome Brown, or for short, Chef Rome. Hey, Rome, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Vanessa? Can I call you Van?
Yes, you can. Ooh, I like that nickname. That's what's up. So, Rome,
Thank you for having me on.
Of course. So, Rome, actually, you've been known all over. You've gotten so much recognition for the work that you do. I hear your food is amazing, so I'm waiting to try that out. So, can you tell me?
Listen, we try to make it. We try to make it an experience every time someone tastes my food.
Oh,
and that's what it's about. When you garner a reputation, you're only as good as your previous meal. Right. And so there literally is the type of job where you can't have an off day and bounce back so easily, especially when you're cooking it for anyone, but let alone a celebrity or someone who has an even higher expectation.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely. So tell me, where did the passion of becoming a chef originate from?
I always say it's the gift God gave me, right? I started at the age of 7, and by the time I was 9, my mother didn't have to do the cooking unless she just wanted to, And every job I ever had something to do with the food industry. And so going into the military as a cook, I actually probably before you were born in 1988, got certified as a chef while I was stationed in Korea. I was in the U.S. Army.
Wow.
So for me, I didn't set out to become a chef. I didn't set out to choose this journey of, cooking for athletes and entertainers and such. But I guess it was the thing that was always meant to be.
Wow.
And that passion has been the thing that has kept me in this realm for all of these years. So I'm grateful of it because it's really opened up doors. It's taken me all over the world. I mean, literally. And I'm it's been an exciting. It's been one of the most exciting things in my life.
Man, that is incredible. That is amazing. I'm actually really glad that you got the chance to actually find your passion. I actually know a lot of people in the world don't actually know their passions yet, no matter how old they are. So, if you actually had it at a young age and you're like, okay, yeah, this is exactly what I want to do with my life. That is amazing.
That's right.
So
yeah, I always tell people about that, though. That thing that you would do every day, whether you got paid for it or not, that's your gift. That's your gift. That's that thing that, you should lean on because it'll open up all kind of doors for you,
Definitely. So, Mom, tell me, actually, before we get into more of it, I want to know, what is your favorite meal to cook?
Oh.
I know that's going to be hard.
It just depends on my mood I have a large palate. I have a large palate. I love so many different things. There's, ironically, the only thing that I cannot eat, just can't eat in terms of food allergy are bananas or anything in the banana family.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But in terms of what I like to eat, I love Caribbean food. I love Italian, Greek, but I guess, soul food is always going to be at the top of the list. My mother was a Carolina girl,
Wow.
So I got it naturally. My dad was a chef. All the men in my family can cook. So it's just one of those things that, I don't know, it's hard to narrow it down like that.
Man, that is amazing. So that's unbelievable. Actually, your whole family cooked, actually. So you got your skills, being able to, piggyback off of them, some of the things they were doing in the kitchen and everything. That's really cool.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, Rome, you've been featured in multiple festivals, from the American Celebrity Chef from 2 years at the prestigious Epcot Food and Wine Festival. And you even visited us here in Chicago at the Taste of Chicago, which is fantabulous. I love Chicago. So
I know I need to come back and do that again. I haven't been back in years with the Taste.
Oh man, you definitely gotta go.
And people were quick to remind me that, well, we can tell you're not from here because you're saying the whole thing. Taste of Chicago. And it's the taste.
For
You
real,
know,
man.
I'm like, I had a great time when I did come, and I would love to come back to Chicago and do it again. So, you know, and I want to go back to Lim's Barbecue. I think it was on the
Ooh.
South Side.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh,
those
yeah.
ribs were amazing. Yeah.
So are there like certain kinds of cuisines that you prepare specifically for festivals, or?
Um. Well, so being a personal chef, you have to be kind of well-rounded in a little of everything,
Mm.
and know something about everything to accommodate the clients. That is really based on the client's need. So, for example, if I'm cooking for an NBA star, you know, I will cook differently for that player on a game day versus a non-game day,
Right.
before the game versus after the game, first thing in the
Wow.
morning versus late at night. If it was someone that was on tour, say a musician or a recording artist, you know, same thing. You know, I want that person, if they're going on stage at a certain time, then I'm going to cook, you know, something and prepare something maybe 4 hours prior to them going on stage, so that they have the energy that they need to pull it off.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
really just varies depending on who I'm cooking for.
Man, very impressive. I love that. You know, you help a lot of different people, you know, from recording artists to NBA stars, from all kinds of celebrities to even continue on within their day. That is amazing.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate in that regard. I mean, people that, you know, I had seen on television never knew that I was going to have an opportunity to meet.
Wow.
You know, from the Shaquille O'Neals, from the Obamas, from, you know, just whomever. You know, you just never know.
Right.
You just never know.
Exactly. So actually, you work with and even trained under some of the best chefs, such as Chef Larry Kennedy, that you trained under when you were at the Benvenue Country Club. So can you tell me like what was that like to be able to learn like skills and some tips from some of the best chefs in culinary?
I mean, it was phenomenal. It literally paved the way for where I am right now. See, the military gave me a certain type of cooking, which was industrial, right?
Okay.
And but when I got certified, I still needed the gourmet side of the business even more than what I have been exposed to. So when I met Larry, you know, he said, okay, first thing we're going to get you certified with the ACF, the American Culinary Federation.
Okay.
And come to find out, Benvenue Country Club was accredited by the American Culinary Institute.
Wow.
So what was happening was that I was receiving a paycheck because I worked there, and I was getting the hands-on training that chefs who were in culinary school coming to get their externships, I was getting the same lessons and training that they were getting, but I was getting paid for it.
Wow.
That was different. And that actually opened the door for me. And just having that type of mentor that, you know, saw something to build on and literally, you know, took me under his wing and said, this is how you do this. This is the approach. You know, and I was still very young, a very young chef at the time. And I had a lot to learn. He paid it forward, and because of him doing that, I try to do that right now with every chef that I encounter, still to
Awesome.
this day.
Man, that's really cool. I actually really
Yeah,
appreciate you being one of the people who can actually lend a helping hand instead of, being greedy and keeping everything to yourself. You're someone who's like, okay,
right.
I want to teach my skills to other people as well. So that's awesome. So,
Well, you know, I heard someone say a long time ago, you know, in this life we have gifts. Everybody has a gift. You have your gift. I have mine. What sense does it make to carry your gift to the grave with you?
right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Even if I don't care if it's just a biscuit recipe. If it was the greatest recipe that someone has ever had, pass that on to someone so that continues to live on right now, right, and in the
Right.
future. So it doesn't make sense for me to keep all of this hoarded inside just for me. Our gifts aren't given to us just for us. They're given to us to be a blessing to everybody we encounter.
Definitely.
The
Definitely.
responsibility. Yeah.
Exactly. So actually I know there was I heard about an opportunity for a single like culinary opening at Walt Disney World Resort that
Mhm.
even though it's despite the odds and despite how big they were, you still went for it and you ended up
Yeah.
beating those odds. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Wow.
That to go through that process because Disney's recruiting is very serious.
Mhm.
They are on point with who they select. They're very careful. They vet every single person.
Mm.
If you work for Walt Disney, you went through a very expensive vetting process. You did.
Wow.
I mean, working around with children, so
Right.
they have to be very protective. And so to interview well and know that there were other qualified individuals. Yeah, I feel very fortunate. I feel very fortunate that to have had that opportunity, and I'm grateful for it.
Definitely. You know, you also openly shared your love and passion for cuisine with a variety of A-listers. Celebrities include, you know, Shaq, which you mentioned earlier, Priscilla Presley, amazing, Star Jones, of course, everybody loves her, Byron Cage, Mike Bibby, and just, I mean, the list just goes on, man. So, I mean, we can be here all day
Yeah.
naming A-listers, but no, these are some really serious names here. So, what was the experience like having them? You know, being in their presence and being able to actually cook for them and prepare a meal for them. And what was their reaction to it?
um, I tell you the funny thing with Shaq, I had already met him previously, through other players, but we had never had like a real conversation. I had just been in this space,
Wow.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was his then wife who I met while I was someone else's personal chef,
Mm.
Byron Cage. And she said to me, she said, listen, I heard a lot about you,
Mm-hmm.
and, we have a busy household, and we're looking for someone of your caliber to come in and really, be our chef.
Right.
And at first, I really didn't want to do it. I offered to hire someone for them, and I did. As a matter of fact, it was one of my cousins, and he did the job well, but eventually had to leave the
Mm.
job. And so when I came in to replace him, to look for someone to replace him, again, I was presented with the opportunity, and ultimately I took it. Well, it was probably 2 months or so later. He was sitting at the end of this really long counter,
Mm-hmm.
and and I turned around on his plate with his plate of food, and I was like, "Damn, that's Shaquille O'Neal." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Yo,
Right.
that's Shaq." Right? Like for real. I'm literally. It just in that moment. It was like, yo, my life is pretty cool.
Right.
you know, because when you first go in, you got to go in regardless of who it is. You got to go in with a level of focus.
Right.
The athlete has to focus, before their greatest tennis match or their World Series or the Super Bowl or whatever. You got to be focused, right?
Right.
And so I went in with that focus, but I literally didn't stop to take a moment to take it all in. Like, okay, I'm in this surrounding.
Mm-hmm.
Let me really enjoy this, right? And
Right.
and appreciate it for what it is. And I appreciated the check and the opportunity, and I always gave my best. But there comes a moment when you see that person in their greatness with what they do, and it makes you humble to some degree to say, and they chose me to be their chef.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful moment.
Man, that is,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, that would be unbelievable for me. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd be speechless. Like, wow, man, that's crazy. That's amazing, though. I'm really proud
Yeah.
of that. That's
There's
amazing.
something else. I'm telling you. Something else.
Definitely. So, So you've also Rome, you've also with your culinary talents, you also showed your impressive skills. So you even managed to catch the eyes of television networks. You guys hear me? Television networks. So, like in
Oh, yeah,
2011, you
Food
were.
Network.
Oh yeah, Food Network definitely. In 2011, you were casting the premiere season of the Food Network, their hit reality show Extreme Chef. I know everybody loves that show. Definitely loves that show.
Right,
And then
right.
you also appeared.
You know,
and
I was the one that almost drowned, right?
yeah. I wasn't gonna mention it, but you know what? Now you yeah.
Oh, listen, my family is still laughing about that. they are still clowning me about that particular moment in my life. But what oddly, that was the very thing that actually launched my career because that happened. It was, I
Wow.
mean, from a notoriety standpoint, it's like, whoa, dude. It was always the icebreaker, but then when you taste my food, it's like, yo, but you can cook. No, drowning or
Right.
not, you can cook. you know. But yeah, I still get clowned about that.
Oh my gosh, man, that was an iconic moment. That's amazing. Though I'm like, wow. And then like if that, I mean, that would definitely happen to me because I'm always clumsy anyway. But
Right,
that is
right.
cool. And then you
Too
also
funny.
appeared on the U.S. Army series I've Got Skills on ESPN. How was that? Like,
Mhm.
how did that come to be up?
That was pretty cool. That was I don't even know how they found me, but some agency that was hired by the U.S. Army to do that series. They wanted people who had excelled in their careers that had their start in the military, and so I had an opportunity to show what "Be All You Could Be" really meant from the literal standpoint of the Army logo, the Army slogan at the time.
Wow.
And so to be able to go from being a cook in the Army to an international chef, two cookbooks, working for stars, I had an opportunity to show the world what it's like to go from that and what the military is doing now to what my day was like in the home of an NBA star at the time, which was Josh Powell. And so it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and that's how I came about.
Man, that's fantastic. That is amazing. I'm really glad that people like you actually get the chance to show off your skills, to show off your talent, and you're presented with this platform, and you're not, what they call a big head. You don't have a big head. You're not like,
No,
oh yeah, I did this. I'm good. Like that. You're like, I'm very humble. I'm very appreciative of everything that comes my way, come through the door, come through the phone. That is amazing. I appreciate that.
but you know what? Let me say this about that, and I think that somebody need to hear this. Um, when I first started working with NBA players, I so got caught up. Like I literally got caught up. I had access. I had more access to money than I had ever even seen, let alone dreamed of. I had more access to, the industry, women, crystal, the stuff that doesn't even matter, right?
Right.
And I literally 6, 7 months in, lost everything.
Wow.
Everything. And I could promise you that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I had to work my way back into that loop and dispel what people thought of me and really realize that I was there for a purpose and I had a responsibility. And so that losing that opportunity with my very first client was the greatest thing that could have happened to me in that moment at that time. It really was because that's what I'm always reminding myself of. You get the big head or you think your ish don't stink, or you think that you have arrived, so to speak, you can literally lose it all in moments.
Yeah.
And I take this very serious. And I teach this to young chefs every time I go somewhere to speak, I teach it to them, because somebody needs to know that. People see us celebrity chefs on television all the time, and they say, I want that. I want to be that. And they don't realize that there's a process. It didn't come overnight, and it still, comes with hard work, consistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so being humble is a priority. When you're humble, you can be exalted. But when you're proud, you can look to fall.
Definitely.
Period.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely. I'm glad you actually shared that with our audience. There's a lot of things that a lot of people need to know. And I guess kind of while I worked with artists in the music industry, not many of them understand that. So,
Right.
yeah, definitely that's something that everybody really needs to know. And please pay attention, you guys, because this is by far one of the best interviews I've ever done. So I'm learning stuff now. So, Rome, you've been actually featured from everywhere, like we mentioned before. ABC, CBS, Fox, Black Enterprise. Oh my God, I love Black Enterprise. And you've even been ranked number 8 chef in the world in 2016. You guys hear me? In the world. Like, that's like, oh my gosh, it's huge.
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Yeah.
That was a crazy moment, very surreal. And what's crazy is, the points, the difference in the points between 8 and 1, or even 10 and 1, was like splitting hairs.
Right.
So it could have easily have been something else. It could have been 1. It could have been. It was easy to so to have that, that title was an amazing experience.
Definitely. And you also, Chef Rome, you recently announced your 2019 international tour that you're going to be doing. So how's that coming along?
It's coming along well. I'm looking forward to going. I'm always excited about going out of the country anyway. So, last year I had an opportunity to go to Nairobi twice to speak and to do a live cooking show, and it was amazing experience. We were trending over there with 2 million people on Twitter. Wow. It was like the coolest event. And so to know that I have the opportunity to go back over to Nairobi, and this time Nigeria and Dubai and London, Toronto, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. It's coming along great. And I'm looking forward to seeing all those people out there that show up in the audience, and we get ready to eat, for real.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. I'm ready. I'm always ready to eat. I ain't lying. Now,
sure.
Not only, like, with our closing now, not only are you this amazing celebrity chef, you're a very humble person, but you also offer so much more. You offer private parties, healthy eating consultations. I heard about the thing with Shaq and you telling him, you need to do this, and that to lose this weight, lose this much weight, to eat this kind of food, to keep your healthy living. You do guest appearances, sponsorships, like all kinds of things. So, like, how can people get in contact with you if they ever need any of this?
So if someone needs to reach me, they can reach me directly on my email, chefrome@gmail.com, CHEFROME@gmail.com. On Facebook is Chef Jerome Brown. Same thing with Instagram, Chef_Jerome_Brown. And then on Twitter, Chef Jerome Brown. So I'm easy to find. I do respond. You are talking to me. And I will hit you back for sure.
Awesome. You guys, this has been an amazing interview with Chef Jerome Brown. And you can listen to this interview again on my YouTube channel. I'll also share the link. And also on my radio station on vamo-radio.com. Anytime you need me, just email me. It's right in the description below. Thanks so much, Rome. I appreciate it so much.
You got it, Van.
Hey.
It's your new nickname.